Imagine waking up in the middle of the night with a sharp, stabbing pain in your lower back. It feels like a knife is being twisted inside you. You rush to the emergency room, convinced something has ruptured. After hours of agony, the doctor hands you a diagnosis that shocks you. It is a kidney stone. But here is the confusing part. You have been eating perfectly healthy. In fact, you just started drinking a superfood juice every morning to lower your blood pressure. You thought you were saving your life, but you were actually brewing a toxic stone inside your kidneys. This is not a scare tactic. This is a biological reality for millions of people over the age of 60 who unknowingly combine the wrong foods. Today, we are talking about beetroot. It is one of the most powerful vegetables on the planet, capable of relaxing your arteries and boosting your stamina. But it has a dark side. When you mix beetroot with 7 specific, common foods, you turn this medicine into a metabolic poison. By the end of this video, you will know exactly how to unlock the benefits of beets without destroying your kidneys. To understand why these combinations are dangerous, we first need to look at the microscopic weapon hidden inside the beet. It is called the oxalate. Plants cannot run away from predators, so they defend themselves with chemical warfare. Beetroots are loaded with oxalic acid. Under a microscope, these oxalates look like tiny, sharp shards of glass or needles. For a healthy 20-year-old with a stomach made of steel, these shards are easily flushed out. But as we age, our gut lining becomes thinner, and our filtration system slows down. When you consume high amounts of oxalates, they travel through your bloodstream looking for a partner to dance with. They are looking for minerals. When they find them, they crystallize. They turn from liquid into solid stone. If this happens in your digestive tract, it is usually fine. But if it happens in your kidneys, you are in for a world of pain. The problem is not just the beet itself, but what you eat with it. The first food on our blacklist is something most people consider the ultimate health staple. This brings us to food number 1, dairy products, specifically milk and hard cheeses. You might think that drinking a glass of milk with your beet salad is a balanced meal. You get your calcium and your vitamins. But chemically, this is a battlefield. Calcium and oxalates are like 2 magnets that snap together instantly. When you consume them at the same time in high quantities, they bind together immediately in your stomach to form calcium oxalate. This effectively neutralizes the benefits of both. You are no longer absorbing the calcium for your bones, and you are not getting the full anti-inflammatory benefit of the beet. Instead, you are creating a heavy, indigestible sediment in your gut. For those with sensitive digestion or a condition known as leaky gut, these large molecules can cause severe inflammation and bloating. You are turning a superfood juice into a gut bomb. But if you think milk is a bad combination, the next food is even worse because it doubles the danger, and it is widely marketed as a heart-healthy treat. We are talking about food number 2, dark chocolate or cacao. This is a classic trap. You read that dark chocolate is full of antioxidants. You read that beets lower blood pressure. So, you decide to make a healthy red velvet smoothie, mixing raw cacao powder with beet juice. On paper, it looks like a longevity elixir. In reality, it is an oxalate overdose. Both cacao beans and beetroots are in the top 1% of oxalate-heavy foods on the planet. By combining them, you are not just adding to the load, you are multiplying it. You are flooding your kidneys with more crystal-forming acid than they can handle in a single week, let alone a single meal. This is often why people who start extreme health kicks suddenly develop joint pain. Those crystals do not just settle in the kidneys, they can settle in your joints, causing pseudo-gout. So, keep your dessert far away from your vegetable juice. However, the next green leaf on our list is perhaps the most deceptive of all, because it is almost always served on the exact same plate as beets in restaurants everywhere. That deceptive green leaf is spinach, and its cousin, Swiss chard. Go to any trendy juice bar, and you will see a menu item called the detoxifier, or the red power blend. It almost always blends fresh raw beetroot with a handful of raw spinach. They tell you it cleans your liver. What they do not tell you is that spinach is the king of oxalates, even higher than the beet itself. When you blend raw spinach with raw beets, you are creating a glass of liquid stones. A single cup of raw spinach contains over 600 milligrams of oxalates. A safe daily limit for someone prone to kidney stones is less than 50 milligrams. Do the math. In one drink, you are consuming 12 times the daily limit. Your kidneys have to work overtime to filter this sludge. If you must have greens with your beets, opt for low oxalate alternatives like arugula or bok choy. Spinach and beets are a marriage that ends in divorce court, or rather, the urology clinic. But perhaps you skip the green juice and just like a crunchy snack on the side. That brings us to the next danger zone. Food number 4 is nuts, specifically almonds and cashews. We have been trained to believe that snacking on almonds is the healthiest habit we can have. And yes, they are full of vitamin E and healthy fats. But almonds are also the nut kingdom's biggest source of oxalates. Think about the modern diet. People drink almond milk, bake with almond flour, and snack on raw almonds. If you add a beet salad or beet juice to that mix, you are saturating your system. Many people who switch to a paleo or keto diet, which relies heavily on almonds and vegetables like beets, suddenly experience what is known as oxalate dumping. This can manifest not just as kidney pain, but as burning urination, vulvar pain in women, and gritty eyes. It is a systemic reaction. If you love beets, try pairing them with low oxalate nuts like macadamias, walnuts, or pecans instead. But there is a supplement in your medicine cabinet right now that might be the invisible catalyst for all of this. This is food number 5, which is actually a supplement, synthetic vitamin C. We all take extra vitamin C when we feel a cold coming on, often in massive doses of 1,000 milligrams or more. We think, the more the better, right? Wrong. Your body creates oxalates as a waste product of metabolizing vitamin C. When you take high doses of ascorbic acid, your body converts the excess that it cannot absorb directly into oxalate. Now, imagine you have high levels of oxalate from the vitamin C, and then you pour in high levels of oxalate from the beet juice. You are attacking your kidneys from two sides. One side is dietary, the other is metabolic. Studies have shown that men who take high-dose vitamin C supplements double their risk of kidney stones. If you are drinking beet juice, you are likely getting enough antioxidants already. You do not need the megadose synthetic vitamins on top of it. But if you think supplements are tricky, the next food group changes the chemistry of your urine entirely. Food number 6 is excessive red meat and organ meats. This interaction is a bit different. It is not just about oxalates, it is about acidity. Red meat is rich in purines, which break down into uric acid. High uric acid levels can lead to gout and uric acid stones. But here is the connection. A diet high in animal protein makes your urine more acidic. Oxalates love an acidic environment. They crystallize faster and harder when the pH level of your urine drops. So, if you are eating a large steak dinner with a side of beets, you are creating the perfect storm: high uric acid from the steak, high oxalates from the beets, and an acidic environment that encourages them to fuse together into stones. It is a triple threat. If you are going to enjoy beets, it is much safer to pair them with a more neutral protein source, like eggs or white fish, or simply ensure you are drinking enough water to dilute that acidity. And speaking of water, there is a white crystal on your table that creates the final trap. Food number 7 is salt, or specifically, high sodium intake. You might wonder what salt has to do with a sweet vegetable like beetroot. It comes down to how your kidneys handle minerals. When you eat a diet high in salty processed foods, your kidneys are forced to excrete more calcium into your urine. Recall what we said earlier about calcium and oxalates being magnets for each other. If you have high levels of calcium floating in your urine because of that salty dinner, and then you introduce a flood of oxalates from your morning beet juice, you are providing all the building blocks needed for a stone to form right there in the bladder or kidney. To make beetroot safe, you must lower your sodium intake. It is a balancing act. But this leads us to the most controversial question in the nutrition world: should you drink your beets raw, or cook them first? This is the great beetroot paradox. If you boil your beets, you significantly reduce the oxalate content. The boiling water pulls out a large percentage of the oxalic acid, making the vegetable much safer for your kidneys. However, there is a catch. The main reason you are likely consuming beets is for the nitrates, the compounds that lower your blood pressure and improve blood flow. These nitrates are water-soluble and heat-sensitive. When you boil the beet, you kill the very thing you are trying to get. You are left with a safer vegetable, but a less effective medicine. So, what is the solution? Steaming. Steaming beets for 15 minutes preserves more of the nitrates than boiling, while still softening the fiber. However, if you have a history of kidney stones, the trade-off might not be worth it. You might need to avoid the juice entirely and stick to the cooked root. But for some of you, the danger is not about kidney stones at all. It is about a sudden, dangerous drop in pressure that can send you to the hospital floor. This brings us to the first major drug interaction: blood pressure medication. Millions of people over 60 take beta blockers, ACE inhibitors, or diuretics to keep their hypertension in check. These drugs work by forcing your blood vessels to relax or by reducing fluid volume. Beetroot juice does the exact same thing. It is a potent natural vasodilator. If you take your pill in the morning and then wash it down with a concentrated glass of beet juice, you are stacking effects. This can cause hypotension, where your blood pressure drops too low. You might feel dizzy when you stand up, you might faint, or you might experience extreme fatigue. It is too much of a good thing. If you are on medication, you must treat beet juice as a second prescription. You cannot just chug it like water. You need to monitor your numbers. And speaking of prescriptions, there is another pill that men over 60 often take, and mixing it with beets is strictly prohibited by cardiologists. We are referring to medications for erectile dysfunction, such as sildenafil or tadalafil. These drugs operate on the nitric oxide pathway to increase blood flow to specific areas. Beetroot juice increases systemic nitric oxide. When combined, they can cause a cascading failure in vascular pressure. It is not just a mild headache, it can lead to a critical cardiovascular event where the heart is not getting enough oxygen because the pressure is simply too low to pump it. It is a reaction similar to taking nitroglycerin heart medication with these pills. If you are using these performance aids, keep the beet juice far away from your routine on those days. But let's say you are not on meds, and you are not eating spinach. How do you know if you are already in the danger zone? Your body gives you a colorful sign in the bathroom that many people ignore. This colorful sign is a condition called beeturia. It is when your urine or stool turns pink or red after eating beets. For about 14% of the population, this is terrifying. You look in the toilet bowl and think you are bleeding internally. Most doctors will tell you it is harmless. And usually, it is. But in functional medicine, beeturia acts as a check engine light. If you see red urine every time you eat beets, it strongly suggests you have low stomach acid or an iron deficiency. Your stomach acid should be strong enough to break down the red pigment, beta-alan. If it passes through you unchanged, your digestion is compromised. It means you are not absorbing nutrients effectively. So, while the red color itself won't hurt you, it is telling you to check your iron levels and maybe look into digestive support. So, where does this leave us? Do you need to banish beetroot from your life forever? Absolutely not. You just need a safety protocol. Here is the 3-step method to drink beet juice without destroying your kidneys. First, the antidote. Whenever you drink beet juice, add a squeeze of fresh lemon juice. Lemons are high in citrate. Citrate is a chemical that coats calcium molecules, preventing them from sticking to oxalates. It literally blocks the crystallization process. It is the cheapest insurance policy for your kidneys. Second, the dilution rule. Never drink beet juice when you are dehydrated. You need a high volume of urine to keep those crystals moving out of your body. Drink a large glass of plain water before and after your beet juice. Third, the dose. You do not need a massive 16-ounce tumbler of juice to lower your blood pressure. Studies show that just 4 to 6 ounces is enough to get the therapeutic effect. Anything more than that gives you diminishing returns and exponential risk. Beetroot is a tool. Like any power tool, it can build a house or it can cut off your finger. It depends entirely on how you handle it. By avoiding the 7 danger foods we discussed, dairy, chocolate, spinach, almonds, synthetic vitamin C, red meat, and salt, and by checking your medications, you can harness the power of this red root safely. Your health is not just about what you eat, it is about what you absorb and how it interacts with your unique chemistry. Do not follow trends blindly. Listen to your body. If this guide helped you navigate the grocery store aisle with more confidence, consider subscribing to the channel. We peel back the marketing labels to show you the biological truth about your food. Stay hydrated, stay safe, and I will see you in the next video.